Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 137 of the High Sensitivity Podcast, and thank you for listening. If it's your first time here, we talk about video game and movie news, as well as what we watched or played over the week. My name is Barry, along with my co-hosts.
My name is Craig.
My name is also Craig. I will no pun inserted because I can't think of one.
Neither can I.
I was trying to think of one too.
I can't transition into the news. I can't transition into the news with any of this.
Wait. Back again with the only thing longer than God of War, this podcast. There you go.
There
okay.
we go.
All right.
Yep.
That's not bad.
Yep.
I like it.
And one thing too, as well, and just to congratulate toward us, we just hit over 3,000 plays on our podcast.
Yes,
that's quite the accomplishment. So thanks everybody for listening. But
yes,
to reward those for listening, we're going to start off with the news.
Ooh, I like that reward. And to reward them even further, guess what? I'm going to go first. We're going to throw it off.
Yeah,
let's go.
I'm shutting up. I'm shutting up this time
All right.
around.
So my first one, I only have two. So these won't take very long. And the first one, if you follow us on Instagram, you already saw, but we're going to bring it up here just in case. Because NCAA college football is not coming out 2023 anymore. It's coming out in 2024. How dare you? But also take your time. It's fine, I guess.
Yeah. Make it work. Make it work correctly. Make it a good game. We've talked about how we feel about these delays, and when we hear about it, Forspoken for one, just push it back, make it good. I'll play it in January. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited for, just like you guys are for NCAA. Yeah. I just really want them to nail the atmosphere sort of stuff. I really want them to make sure they do the whole models of the stadiums, much like how FIFA does, where you get every model of the stadium, to kind of be unique in itself, whether it's the Big House Horseshoe, Beaver Stadium, the road, Pasadena Coliseum. So it's just there's so many stadiums that maybe they thought it would just be easier to do, and they probably have a lot to figure out with NIL as well. NIL is definitely going to be a big thing that, especially for player likeness wise, whether or not, we're actually going to see the players you control with their names, or whether or not you're just going to get a number, because that's what they did, right?
And all used to be just numbers. Yep, because you couldn't pay the athletes. Yep. So no likenesses, no number or no names. I think the first thing I thought of though when I saw this was, I'm going to assume that means they're not just going to use the Madden engine then. Right. And just slap the college teams on top if they're taking this much time. I know they have to do all the stadiums. I know they said they wanted to get accurate cheers from the fans for each stadium, which is a lot of work. It's a lot of recording, a lot of stuff to do. But it gives me a little bit of hope that they're not just going to use the same Madden physics, same Madden engine, and just say, here's your college teams. At least I hope not.
Yeah, no, I hope the same thing you guys do. But I was thinking too, it would be really cool if they're taking the time to do all of the actual intros.
Yes.
For,
Yeah.
And what we've been saying for Madden for years, actually up the presentation portion of things. Because in college football, there's a bit more of I'm trying to think of the ambiance and also tradition that comes with
sincerity.
It, the dotting the I in the Ohio State, band, the blue, and for us for Penn State, the blue band thing that they do every year with our fight songs and everything like that. And I imagine other schools have a lot, the USC with them, putting the spear into the ground on a horse. That stuff's just cool. So I'd like them to be able to get the presentation of everything right. That would be really nice. And a lot of the times it's the same thing over and over again. So you just have to get it right once, and you probably don't have to do it, uniquely for every game, so to say.
I would say too, something small that they can do that NBA 2K already does this, and not a lot of people notice, but it makes a big difference. Every team that you play with in 2K, I'm not talking about the play-by-play announcers, but if you listen for the in-arena announcers, that's the in-arena announcer for every team.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, really?
Yes. So the first time I noticed it was after I had went to a Sixers game, And I came back and played. I was like, that's the same guy. And when you match it up with other teams, they also do that. So it'd be more work in college football. But if you bring in every person who does the in-stadium announcing and have them record lines, that makes a huge difference. Something small, but for somebody like us, we're going to recognize the guy who does Penn State's in-stadium,
Yeah.
stuff. Somebody from Ohio State or somebody from Alabama is going to recognize theirs as well. And that just is a very tiny thing you can do to really immerse yourself. So hopefully they do something like that. I don't know if that's like, how many teams are there? 320 some, I believe.
Yeah.
That's a lot of people to bring in, but I mean, they got the time. So that's something I'm hoping for.
Yeah.
Yeah. They should make that a priority, because
Yeah.
that will make that game surpass all other sports games in terms of that, because that's half that's what separates college sports, and specifically college football, from the NFL.
Yep.
There's that tradition like Barry was speaking of, and like when you do get those recordings, tradition is tradition for a reason, length of time, so
Yep.
you don't have to like re-record it every year,
Right.
or anything
Right.
like that.
Yeah,
But
you
it
don't
takes
need to bring
time.
them in every year.
Exactly. They should do that.
Yeah. And then the last piece of news I have is something I thought was interesting, just small, but Sony said that they do not expect the PlayStation 6 anytime before 2027. I think that's too long, not long enough. What do you think?
As long as
We're,
it's not within the next 4 years, I'm good with it, to be
how many
honest.
are we on year 2 for the PS5?
Yes.
Ending year 2, yeah.
Second holiday, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Second,
we're looking at another 5 years. I think that's probably about right.
yeah, isn't that like the 7-year cycle that they try to go by in terms of that, or
Yeah,
at
but it
least like
gets
what the go ahead.
no.
Sorry.
It gets muddy now because you get the small step ups, right? The Xbox One and then the Xbox One X, or the PS4 and the PS4 Pro. It always gets muddled in there. But yeah, that would be right. 7 years.
Yeah, for the most part, I just want to feel like my PS5 purchase was worth it for a long enough period of time.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's going to be the same thing when they release the PS5 Pro inevitably, and I'm going to feel like I have to get that, even though I don't. But I feel like I feel like 7 to 8 years. There's always kind of the next jump in gaming, where this one was kind of 4K and ray tracing.
Right.
Maybe then in the next
8K?
7 years it's 8K and
Yeah.
maybe it's 8K and like built-in VR or something like that. I really don't know. It's gaming is moving at such a quick pace right now. It's kind of hard to tell.
I haven't noticed. Is 8K as far as TVs taking off or not?
For the most part, it's available in really premium TVs,
Right.
and
Yes.
the thing is the content for 4K stuff isn't really there right now. Gaming could be one of the first ones to adapt 8K. They did say that, like, I know the PS5 does support 8K already, but there's been really no word of any games really coming in 8K either. It's funny, you play God of War and you can like hear the PS5, turn on, and its fans are like,
Yep.
and it's like, what is God of War in 8K? Do we have the same issues where everybody's memeing about the PlayStation 4 lifting off when you're playing
Probably.
certain games? So it's the next step up.
Yeah,
it is.
That's all I had.
All right. I don't have a lot either. I did have the PlayStation 6
nice.
timing thing written down. But the other couple of things I had, these two are just basically rapid fire, which is essentially Pokemon Scarlet and Violet surpassing 10 million in sales, most selling Nintendo game. And as expected as well, God of War Ragnarok also surpassed The Last of Us Part 2, hitting 5.1 million copies in its first week. They got that number down. So not like we didn't expect it. The numbers are nice. But I just thought I would like throw those out there just so that we just knew. And then the only other one that I had was Microsoft admits to Nintendo and PlayStation having better quality exclusives than themselves. Now, this is tied to their acquisition of Blizzard. And with that, $70 billion acquisition. I don't think people make $1 million deals anymore. They're all billion.
No.
$7,000 acquisition of Blizzard. Uh, they they're fighting all these litigators, regulators, who are basically nitpicking at the actual logistics and the legislation of it. So one of their counteractives, or I guess one of their narratives, is to admit that Sony and Nintendo do have better and higher selling exclusives. And they went as far to say that if they, and they're not going to do this, if they were to make Call of Duty a Xbox exclusive, that still, even after all that, Nintendo and Sony do have better selling exclusives. Now, I just thought it was funny. We have a continuous, at least one of us reports every week of just the Microsoft Sony thing being a petty brother fighting match where you say things that you may not necessarily mean or want to take back, or you just say it for the cameras. So I just thought that was funny. I don't know what you guys think.
I mean, I feel like Microsoft has said this a lot already, that they know they don't have exclusives. I don't think that's anything new. It does seem like a lot of the litigation stuff is coming from Sony, right? Isn't that where it's mostly coming from?
Yeah.
Yeah, they are pushing back the most. A lot of comments have been about how, and I know this is kind of connected to what Craig's been talking about, but Sony's kind of come out and said, like, oh, Battlefield can't keep up with Call of Duty. That's why they really can't do this. And it's like, well, duh, Battlefield's been on the downcline ever since Battlefield 4, I think, came out. And, there is talks, and I have read a lot of, Reddit commenters about how, like, Battlefield is slowly becoming more playable. But it's been released for almost a year now, and we're just getting to the playable update for it. So there really is no comparing the two, because Call of Duty is in a league of its own. And yes, it sells gajillions of copies every year, but it's also because they put together a good shooter, where Battlefield can't seem to figure out how to put together a good shooter at this moment. So you kind of just have to continue to roll with the punches. For the most part, like, yeah, Sony releases better exclusives. That's pretty obvious considering what Microsoft's been doing as of late, but they are trying to eventually get there. Sony has, the system sellers right now, and Microsoft has the compatibility better than, either of the consoles, where you could pick up things from your computer or play on your Xbox. So, eventually maybe we start to see something from Sony be more compatible, which they're starting to release their games on PC, but nothing like Game Pass. So, Xbox is still doing its fair share. It just needs to take its time and make the exclusives they need to do. The only thing is, though, is you don't see. Yeah, Sony's taking its time with its exclusives, but like Gears of War, we haven't seen for a long time. Since the One X came out, we haven't really heard or seen anything from Halo. Yes, that did just come out, but that took years of work, and that's really the only two that I could really name, unless you guys can name some other. Forza, yeah. Well, at least we had Horizon 5, but you start to realize that Horizon 5 is more of Horizon 4, just in a different area here. Motorsport should be coming out eventually, so that's going to be
that's
coming out as well. But you are missing, like, the original IP sort of stuff, where Sony at least has Horizon, which is only in its second game. Forbidden West here. You have some others like Stray that did very well, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But
yes, we will.
Microsoft will get there, but it's just patience, and eventually patience is rewarded for the most part.
They have all those studios that they bought. You just have to wait until those studios finish their games, right? I mean, that was a couple years ago that they bought them, so it's not out of the realm of possibility to think it's going to be another couple years before we see what they've been working on. But as of right now, there's literally nothing, in my opinion, that's like the standout, like, blockbuster Xbox exclusive, something that you can put up against God of War or Horizon that both came out this year and be like, yeah, this is the Microsoft equivalent. There's just, Halo was not it. Horizon, Forza is good, but it's not on the level of a exclusive like God of War, Horizon, Forbidden West.
And who knows? Maybe what was it? Was it Stalker? Was the game that was supposed to come out earlier this year?
Yeah.
Uh,
That was, yeah.
maybe that would have been their time too. But the things going on with Ukraine and the things going on inside that studio right now, like
Yep.
it's another thing of having to just be patient and wait for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't Redfall exclusive to Xbox?
I
I can't
think so.
remember.
Plus,
And
they
I think I'd
bought
have to look.
Team Ninja, right? So whatever
yeah,
Team Ninja's working on, which we don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, they're going to come back with a punch, Craig. I agree with you there.
Mhm.
We just got to wait for the games to finish, and then all of a sudden, Microsoft's going to look a lot better than they do now in comparison to
Right.
Sony.
Right.
we are going to talk about it in a little bit, but I am predicting we will probably see like a really like major exclusive IP trailer for Xbox. Probably Fable, because we haven't heard
Yeah.
anything about Fable in a
Oh
long
my
time.
gosh.
At
Elder
the Game
Scrolls.
Awards. I will think we will see something at the Game Awards for Xbox.
Yeah.
That's a
But
segue right there.
yeah,
That's a
speaking
segue.
of the Game
Well done.
Awards, we are going, as a podcast, we are going to go over the Game Award nominees, and we are going to discuss them as a group here and figure out what we as the podcast are voting for. I'm already signed into our account, so
Yes.
this will be interesting. I already started from the bottom, so we will be working our way up.
Let's
I
do it.
will admit, I am a little. I don't know what some of these are, so we're gonna see here in a minute. Maybe you
I
guys
think
do.
we could probably skip all the like the esports teams and favorite streamers. I saw all those categories. I was like, I don't really care enough about any of that.
I can do that. Okay, so we'll start off with the first one then. Best esports game is the first one, which we play these games. I do recognize most of them.
Yep.
Counter-Strike, Global Offensive, Dota 2, League of Legends, Rocket League, and Valorant. Seems to be the ones there. Seeing as I don't I play a little bit of League of Legends, but I don't play anything competitively. I do know Craig plays a lot of Rocket League. I wouldn't mind probably voting for Rocket League here.
I like Rocket League a lot. Like it's my go-to. I always go back to it. But yeah, that would be my pick.
I mean, that's definitely up there, and it's so long standing as well. I dabbled in Rocket League until I realized how good the competition was compared to me, so I picked up like another game. But it's such a unique experience that really hasn't had something to recreate it. Exactly the feeling of scoring in that game. So I'll throw a vote there as well.
Sweet.
All right,
I feel like Valorant's gonna win that category though.
I feel like it could be League. League had a big
Okay.
year this year with its Worlds.
Sure.
That I put that as we voted for the kind of best performance or stage, I guess. Next up is most anticipated game.
Okay.
Final Fantasy 16, Hogwarts Legacy, Resident Evil 4, Starfield, and
Starfield's
finally,
an Xbox exclusive.
yes, it is.
Yeah,
that is true.
Yeah.
The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom.
Oh boy. I mean, my vote's Hogwarts, I think.
My vote is also Hogwarts.
But there's a lot of good ones in there.
My vote's Tears.
Wow. Okay.
See, for me, it's between those two. Me personally, though, is Breath of the Wild was kind of like, yes, the huge big step, and I am very anticipated for it. But this Hogwarts is the first kind of big Harry Potter game that has potential to actually fill the hopes and dreams of the people. So that's why I'm more leaning toward Hogwarts, because Zelda's going to be Zelda. We know Zelda. It's going to be Zelda.
It'll sell more.
Yeah.
Than Hogwarts.
I don't know about that.
You don't think so?
I think
so
Hogwarts
much
could sell more.
Yeah. It could. Like there's people that are going to buy PlayStation 5s for their mother for this game.
Exactly. That's me. You've literally just explained me.
That like it's gonna be, I don't want to say system seller yet, but this might be the game that people actually, elbow somebody to get a PlayStation 5 for. That was the nicest thing I could think of somebody to do to aggressively get a PlayStation 5. Elbow somebody. This is the game. There's such a fan base, and while JK does not have the
JK doesn't deserve this. We don't talk about
she
JK.
doesn't deserve this. Yeah.
She's also not really tied to it in any way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But precisely. But I guess where I was going is that the Harry Potter Nation, or whatever the group of Harry Potter fans, including myself, is called, they're still strong despite what she did to to the franchise or to the series or to the hearts and minds of all the young kids to people our age, So based on that fan base, it'll probably sell more. I need a game to make me feel like Breath of the Wild again, which is why Tears is ahead, because nothing will ever make me feel like Breath of the Wild make me feel like playing. It's a very specific feeling you get when you play that game. So
and I didn't get it.
That's just me.
It bounced off me so hard.
Yeah. But let's talk about Starfield.
I hope Starfield's good, but I don't really have any faith in it, honestly.
Yeah,
I didn't like the footage.
I don't like what I see. I don't like what I see from Starfield. That's what worries me here.
Good thing is it'll be on Game Pass. So
yes,
I'm gonna put us down for Hogwarts. Sorry,
Okay.
sorry. I'm gonna.
You were outvoted.
Yes, I am executive decisioning this one.
Mathematics.
Yep.
Next one is best adaptation, which luckily I have seen all these things, so we'll see about how you guys feel. Best adaptation, we have Arcane, League of Legends, Cyberpunk Edge Runners, The Cuphead Show, all three of these Netflix shows,
Yep.
Sonic the Hedgehog 2, and Uncharted.
It's Arcane.
Arcane, yes. I will admit it's a little close with Cyberpunk, but Arcane was better. I fully...
Cyberpunk was going to be my vote. And I was going to spend the rest of the time making fun of Uncharted.
Yeah, Uncharted doesn't deserve to be on there.
I guess they just needed 5.
I don't even like League of Legends or anime, and I liked Arcane. So there's that.
Arcane's just really good. Yeah, Arcane's just really good.
If that doesn't win, I'll be shocked. Absolutely shocked.
I agree. Just Cyberpunk Edge Runners is the more recent, so there is a lot of recency bias that'll be coming out of that one. Best indie debut:
Stray,
Neon White, Norco, Stray, Tunic, and Vampire Survivors.
It's gonna be Stray.
It's gonna be Stray. I kind of want Tunic. I'm a fan of Tunic myself.
Good. Yeah.
See, the thing
really
Vampire Survivors is good too.
Yeah, for me, I struggle because like Neon White was really good, but it's also a very kind of it's a much more niche game. Stray, Tunic, and Vampire Survivors are my 3 main ones that I look at here. I actually really prefer Vampire Survivors as kind of the indie debut here. But I know we've got.
I think I do too, but I think Stray's gonna win. I'd rather play Vampire Survivors. But I think Stray is the better game.
I'm going to stick with Stray.
All right.
As somebody who didn't play Vampire Survivors, though, so let's keep that in mind. There's a caveat there.
But it's very simple.
Well, I guess we're split on that. Well, I said
you got.
I know people
Stray.
like
you
Stray.
got outvoted.
Yeah.
Executive decisions.
It's not getting Game of the Year vote, so let's vote it now.
There's some other categories that could win.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. It's in other ones.
But next up is best multiplayer game.
Yeah.
This should be pretty easy. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. Multiverses. Overwatch 2. Splatoon 3. And Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge.
It's Call of Duty.
Call of Duty.
It's Call of Duty.
Yeah.
It's
All right. Yeah, sweet. An easy one. I like
That's an easy one.
I like those.
Yeah.
I like those easy ones there. Next up is best sports / racing.
Forza.
We have F1 22.
Okay.
FIFA 23. NBA 2K23. Gran Turismo 7. And the Ollie Ollie World.
Did Forza not come out this year?
Forza's not on
Horizon not come out this year? Hold on. Did they really put Gran Turismo and not Forza Horizon?
Okay.
I'm going to look it up. That seems crazy to me. Was it Horizon 5 or 6?
It's Horizon 5.
5. All right, here we go. No, it did come out in 2021. All right, November of 2021.
There we go. Really late.
So it was What was it?
F122, FIFA 23, NBA
Okay.
2K23, Gran Turismo 7, and Ollie Ollie World.
I'm going to let you guys have this one because I didn't play any of these games. I did not play a sports game this year.
Gran Turismo.
I played most of them as well. I am leaning toward Gran Turismo, but a part of me does like voting for FIFA, but that's also recency biased because they released the World Cup mode. So that's
you know what, they did do that.
I'm gonna put Turismo. Okay, FIFA.
Let's do FIFA. I forgot about that.
All right.
Yeah, that's fair.
World Cup mode's a lot of fun. Next up is best sim/strategy game. We have Dune Spice Wars, Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope, Total War Warhammer 3, 2 Point Campus, and Victoria 3.
I mean,
I'm saying Rabbids.
I would say Rabbids. I haven't even played it yet.
I would say Rabbids, but I have played a lot of Total Warhammer 3. I'm going to say Rabbids because Total Warhammer is just kind of the next step in the second one. There's a lot of similarities. So I'm going to put Mario versus Rabbids or Mario plus Rabbids because it did take a big step this year. That game is a lot of fun.
That game is a lot of fun.
Sweet,
I
got that one.
Finish that one.
Next one is best family game.
Ooh.
Kirby and the Forgotten Land, Lego Star Wars the Skywalker Saga, Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope, Nintendo Switch Sports, and Splatoon 3.
Hold on. Is Mario Rabbids a family
no,
game?
It's not. I mean, one person can play while the family watches.
What?
But
that one's disqualified. Get it out of here.
Yeah, please.
Kirby was good.
I know it's going to be forgotten out of a lot of people, but I'm going to pick Nintendo Switch Sports. That is what
I didn't like it.
I mean, that seems like the most family game out of these games.
What was after Kirby?
Lego Star Wars, the Skywalker Saga.
Pick. That's my pick.
Okay.
There's so much crammed into that game. It's insane.
Yeah. I guess for me, for the most part, there's going to be definitely a lot of people like who either don't care about like the Switch Sports, but it is like a fun family game to play, much like how Wii Sports was. Just you're right, it's not as good. But then the Skywalker Saga, there's definitely a bunch of
multiplayer, 9 movies in one game, co-op. Yeah, I don't know. That's my pick.
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna go Skywalker Saga there.
I like.
Yeah, I'm not gonna fight. Actually, I forgot about. Yeah, the co-op combined with all of those movies packed. That's
a lot of stuff they put in there. That took me like a good 40 hours to 50 hours to get everything done.
Yeah, and it's fun. It is a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Next up is best fighting game. We have DNF Duel, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, All-Star Battle R, The King of Fighters 15, Multiverses, and Sifu. Which
Sifu was bad.
Well, like, what's weird is all of these games, like, yes, they're all arcade fighters. Sifu isn't, which is odd.
It's not.
It's a really odd inclusion into all of this, which makes
it's like they didn't know where to put it to get it in a nomination for something.
Yeah, or they're trying to round out the category or something because they only had 4 and they needed to make it 5.
I haven't played any of them except Sifu, but I've heard a lot of good about Multiverse.
I've heard a lot of good about Multiverse and DNF Duel, which, if you don't know, is made by Arc System Works. They always do incredible work with fighting games. So yeah, I think actually for the most part, I am going to say Multiverses here as well because of, it is a Smash Brothers clone, but it seems to really be the only one that's kind of put itself forward, I guess, and definitely tried to become more popular.
It is the only game where Superman can fight Arya Stark, so maybe that should give it a leg up.
Yeah, maybe. Next up is going to be best role-playing game. Now we're starting to get into some stuff here. All right. Elden Ring.
Elden Ring? Okay.
There's no Soul Hackers in this.
Oh, look at that. It didn't make it into the category. I wonder why.
Yeah, it didn't make it into the category. I get it. All right, let's continue
all you need to. I think I played more Soul Hackers than you did.
Just let's keep going. Live Alive is the second nominee. Okay. Elden Ring was the first one, in case you guys weren't too busy laughing at me. Pokemon Legends Arceus. Triangle Strategy made it on here. Okay. And Xenoblade Chronicles 3 for best role playing. I have to pick Legends Arceus. I loved this game so much. I am for Arceus here.
Man, I don't know. Xenoblade was fun, but I skipped all the cutscenes. I didn't play a whole lot of Elden Ring. And Live. I played whatever. I played
Live
like
Alive,
an hour.
Yeah.
Live Alive. I mean, Elden Ring's going to win this category. Let's be honest.
Well, there are other categories in which Elden Ring is in, which makes me think which makes me think that one of like Pokemon Triangle Strategy or Xenoblade Chronicles 3 has a chance to win, because it's it's kind of the three unique here, and Live Alive is technically a remake. So
yeah. I don't care. I don't really have a vote in this one.
Yeah, see, I was thinking the same kind of thing you are, Barry. Like, my mind went Elden Ring, but Elden Ring is up for best game and a bunch of other different things. Right. So, like, I almost don't want to vote for Elden Ring because of that. Like, I want to like pick something else. But like, the only other game I played would be Xenoblade Chronicles 3, and that game was pretty good.
It is
for the Switch. It looks pretty good for the Switch. So, I mean, the story and the content and the play and the gameplay and the characters and such like that, it's actually one of the games this year that I'm truly sad I didn't finish, like more so than other games. So I might go that route.
I'm okay with either. I'm okay with either of these, like either of these two winning, but yeah, for me, I still got to put my foot down with Arceus. Arceus was such a switch up, and I know it didn't run well, and I know Scarlet and Violet doesn't run well, but it was such a. For me, there was more of a connection to like you playing as the trainer than ever before, with being able to throw Pokeballs, there being actual danger, with Pokemon actually attacking you. There was, and I know it's not really an open world as well either, but. For me, Arceus or Xenoblade Chronicles 3 does deserve it, but
I don't care. I'm out of this one.
Well, you might have to be the deciding vote here.
Okay, so you're saying Pokemon, Craig. What are you saying?
He's saying Chronicles 3.
Yeah.
Xenoblade.
All right, Xenoblade it is then.
I'd rather play Xenoblade than I would Pokemon.
Fair enough.
That's all I'm going off of. Pokemon Arceus was a good game. I didn't get into it.
Yeah.
It's better than Scarlet and Violet, that's for sure.
Best action adventure game.
Okay.
A Plague Tale Requiem, God of War Ragnarok, Horizon Forbidden West, Stray, and Tunic.
I love that Tunic made it on that one.
Yeah, too. That's cool. Man, that's a tough one.
I'm voting Tunic here.
I like it. Tunic.
Let's run with it.
Yeah, Tunic.
Yeah, I for me, in the most part, like it says, for best action adventure game combining combat with traversal and puzzle solving, Tunic has really good puzzles, really good traversal. Like the whole afterlife thing as well is also a lot of fun with it. Where Forbidden West looked great, Ragnarok looked great. Stray, the puzzles I'm gonna say were very easy, very remedial, and your traversal is pressing X a lot. That's pretty much what traversal is. And then A Plague Tale Requiem is much like the other games in this. We're voting Tunic.
Tunic it is. Switch it up a little bit.
Best action game. Bayonetta 3.
Okay.
Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. Neon White. Sifu. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge.
Wouldn't it be Call of Duty?
Barry's gonna vote Bayonetta.
Well, no. So, like, the thing is here is, and don't you can just put me places, Craig. It's not.
You know you're gonna do it. You're gonna pick Bayonetta.
No,
put me places. He's not a chess piece.
Yes, I love Bayonetta, but I do have to say that it is more Bayonetta. Like
Yeah.
that's what that is. Call of Duty is more Call of Duty, and I would like to stretch out a little bit and kind of reward these studios for more ingenuity, which I
Sure.
liked Neon White for its card based game mechanics and the speed running. And then I also think Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles also probably deserves a little bit of that. We
My vote's
haven't
Ninja
seen
Turtles. It's a
Ninja
good game.
Turtles. All right.
It's a
How
really
about
good game.
so Ninja Turtles we're voting for? Completely okay with either of those.
Completely.
Literally, it's on Game Pass, so like I can't stress enough people at least try that game. It's so well done. So well done.
Barry's gonna vote Bayonetta. Good for him. Honda 5E. Oh wait, he doesn't want to go there. All right. Best VR and AR game. I'm
Golf
not.
Plus.
Here's the thing. I'm not exactly happy with this list either, Craig.
Me neither. I do not like
So
this list.
Read
But
them
go
all.
ahead.
so we have After the Fall,
Mm-hmm.
Among Us VR,
Gross.
Bone Lab,
Mm-hmm.
Moss Book 2, and Red Matter 2.
Bone Lab. Easily.
I do believe Bone Lab as well.
It's a great game.
I'll stick to that.
The games that I want aren't on there. Like I can't believe the NFL Pro Era wasn't on there.
I can't believe it either.
Right? Like that's so something that's never been done. Bone Lab's great, but it's a shooter.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like it's a very good shooter, and like the environment stuff is awesome. But like there's 10,000 shooters on VR, and Among Us is okay. Like if you like Among Us, having it in VR is cool.
Yeah, it's
But
Among Us.
yeah, I would have thought NFL Pro Era would have been on there for sure.
All right,
Bone Lab
next
is
up,
good.
Innovation and accessibility. And just so we all have an idea here, recognizing software and/or hardware that is pushing the medium forward by adding features, technology, and content to help games be played and enjoyed by an even wider audience. As Dusk Falls, God of War Ragnarok, Return to Monkey Island, The Last of Us Part 1, and The Quarry.
God of War.
Yeah.
There's so much you can do in that game.
Yeah, I don't want to give it to The Last of Us, even though like a lot of the accessibility talk was spurred by The Last of Us 2, and they just kind of ported that over to the Part 1 remake. I was gonna ask you, like, because you played these games more than I did, Craig. Like, as Dusk Falls in The Quarry, do you feel like they did anything when it came to accessibility? I thought As Dusk Falls was just more of a almost a text adventure game, much like Monkey Island.
Yeah,
essentially it was. And like the Quarry had some good things. The biggest thing that I remember about the Quarry, and it's not the accessibility actually, it's that you could play it in different modes that change the look of the game itself.
Okay.
Because it didn't have it was like black and white or like you
could
play it in
like
a
filters
VHS. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. God of War just had so much, and I think what puts it over the top is the addition of the checkpoint system for bosses.
Yeah.
Like that's huge. That's something nobody's done before. And is huge for somebody who struggles. I have friends who love to play video games but don't play them because they are always like, "Oh, I'm not good enough," and I always lose. That's huge for somebody like that, right?
That is
to
huge.
be like, you can put it on the lowest difficulty and checkpoint system for the bosses. That way, you can still enjoy the story. So I like that.
God of War Ragnarok. Best community support.
Get Apex out of here.
First up is Apex Legends.
Get it out of here.
Destiny 2.
I know who mine
Final Fantasy 14. Fortnite. And No Man's Sky.
It's got to be No Man's Sky.
I think it's Fortnite.
See, like
I want to say Fortnite.
They've done so much. Still,
but like No Man's Sky has done so much. They literally took it from a bottom feeder game to past playable, and they keep adding stuff to it. You know what I mean? So
that's true. I wouldn't be upset with No Man's Sky, honestly. They should be rewarded for turning that nightmare around.
Yeah. And they didn't ask for a single penny. If you bought the game, they just kept doing update and patch and update and patch and update. And they didn't ask you, as the person that made the sadder decision earlier, like what is that, 3 or 4, 5
That's
years
a
ago?
long time ago.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they didn't ask for a single cent. They just kept making it better continuously. I don't know. That sets it apart for me.
Yeah. I'm cool with that.
Fortnite is consistent though. I get
For
why your
years.
head's
Yeah.
going there for years, and they keep adding new things, and you can play as LeBron James, which is amazing,
For Goku, Vegeta.
or Goku. But I
Crazy.
mean, No Man's Sky is just, I don't know, transcends what
Mhm.
that definition of that category is.
Yeah, I can go No Man's Sky as well.
All right.
It's fine by me.
They deserve it.
Best mobile game. I hate these.
Yeah.
Apex Legends Mobile.
Ooh.
Diablo Immortal.
Get out of here.
Genshin Impact.
Mhm.
Marvel Snap. And Tower of Fantasy.
I haven't played Marvel Snap. Diablo doesn't
I
deserve to be on there.
played a little Snap.
How is it?
It's pretty good.
Okay.
It's pretty good. It's definitely a lot more interactive than a couple of the other Marvel games that I've played on mobile, because I played like once throughout the years,
Mm-hmm.
and I kind of like it. I can only speak about Marvel Snap though, personally. I haven't played the other
Apex
four.
Mobile's good. But it's just Apex on your phone / tablet. I mean, if you like Marvel, we go with Marvel. I didn't play Genshin at all,
Yeah,
but I
but
know
Genshin's
that's huge.
Genshin. We know Genshin.
Yeah, true.
So like yeah, it did come out with more updates. Tower of Fantasy, of course I played it, to be honest. You want to put me on a chess piece there, Craig? Yes,
Yep.
I will admit I played Tower of Fantasy.
Barry's
I
gonna
didn't
vote for Tower Fantasy, guys.
Well, no, I haven't. I've heard a lot of good things about Marvel Snap, where I really haven't.
No.
You know, Tower Fantasy, of course, is another anime game, so
Yep.
I'm okay with doing Marvel Snap just because I have heard a lot of good things about that, even though I haven't
I'll
played
download
it.
it and try it out.
See, for me, it would be It'd be the Pokemon card game that they just did. Pokemon Live is what they're
Mhm.
calling it now, but that's not on here, so it doesn't matter. And it's in beta.
Pokemon
Maybe
Live
next year.
Alive.
Alive.
Pokemon Live Alive. Live your
Best
life.
indie.
Okay.
Cult of the Lamb. Neon White. Sifu. Stray. And Tunic.
It's between Cult and Tunic for me.
I'm personally going to go Cult of the Lamb.
Okay.
I'll agree.
All right. I didn't play it.
Right. Cult of the Lamb.
I guarantee you, gentlemen, that if you play Cult of the Lamb, you will get sucked in. It was insanely addictive.
It's a fun game.
And short, right?
It's adorable.
Okay.
It's a bit roguelike as well. Then we have best ongoing game. Apex Legends. Destiny 2. Final Fantasy 16. Fortnite. And Genshin Impact.
This might be the one to vote for Fortnite on.
Yeah, Fortnite.
You know.
Yeah, for me it's probably either Fortnite or Final Fantasy 16. I don't play Final Fantasy 16, but I do remember the huge craze that happened when the update came out.
Is Destiny still popular?
Destiny, they still have the expansions, and I still believe there's one or two more coming out for Destiny 2, but that's really all I can say about the whole thing right now. I haven't played recent expansions. Like Destiny 2 has like always had one of some of the best shooting like mechanics in any game, but for me the loot system I can't.
It's bad. Yeah.
I can't do the loot system, so I'm okay with either Fortnite or Final Fantasy 16.
I like
let's Fortnite then. We'll do Fortnite.
Yeah, the addition of no build mode. Whew,
yeah, that's
so
right.
good.
Yeah.
Yes.
And like it blew up a lot when they did, you know, the whole special items with Goku and the web slingers with Spider-Man. So there's a lot going on there. Games for impact. These are thought-provoking games that either send a social message or meaning.
Okay.
A Memoir Blue. As Dusk Falls. Citizen Sleeper. Endling. Extinction is Forever. Hindsight. And I Was a Teenage Eco-Colonist.
I haven't played any of these.
That's
haven't
my
played any of
issue
them.
as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start looking at some of these games, and if as long as they aren't $20 each, I will start. I know as Dusk Falls is on Game Pass, I'm going to try and
Right.
take a look
Yeah.
at some of these games. We're going to leave this vote for later, and I'm going to look at a couple of these.
Okay.
Sorry to those games, but I just haven't
I haven't played any of
heard
them.
of them. Best performance to voice actor here. We have Horizon Forbidden West with Ashley Birch, who plays Aloy. Plague Tale Requiem, Charlotte McBurney, who plays Amicia.
Hmm?
God of War Ragnarok's Christopher Judge, who plays Kratos. I'm really sorry, but their next one is Immortality, Man Engage.
Yes.
I never played Immortality.
Yes.
Do you know who she's playing as?
Main character.
Do you have the
That's
name?
all you gotta say. No,
Okay.
it doesn't matter.
Okay.
First of all, go ahead.
And then lastly is just God of War Ragnarok Sonny Soljic, who plays Atreus.
What? No. First of all, I felt like I could be wrong here, but what's the name of the guy who does Kratos?
Christopher Judge.
Christopher Judge. Did it seem like to you that he was trying to go even lower with his voice this game? Like, I mean, more gravelly?
There's a lot of grunts.
It just there were certain sections where it seems like his lines he was like lower than normal, and it was weird to me. The other one, the one I was just freaking out about,
Immortality.
Yes, that's my pick.
I'll have to take a look at that game. I haven't.
Here's the thing about that game. That game is literally it's a bunch of clips of a actress, right? And you have to kind of there's been games like this before where you're like typing in search things to find different clips and kind of piece the story together. That game's phenomenal. And not only that, if you have Netflix, it's on Netflix under their game section.
Oh, okay.
You can literally play it on there. It's great. It's a great game. That's my pick. She did a phenomenal job.
Yeah, because I'm really between Ashley Birch as Aloy and Charlotte McBurney as Amicia.
I was gonna go with Birch.
Okay.
I mean, she's the one who's standing out. But like now that you describe Immortality, due to the nature of that particular game, that's intriguing my interest as letting that game have it. I mean, Horizon hasn't won anything yet in what we voted on.
Horizon's going to get left out again.
No, I think Horizon will get some other stuff, and we'll talk about that with the other ones. I actually want to go Charlotte McBurney here. I think we're all three of us are in separate areas here. Amicia, like the voice actor that plays Amicia in Requiem, like Amicia is a totally different character in this game, and I think she deserves it. So maybe none of us vote this one because we all can't decide.
That's fair. She did do a good job in Plague's Tale, but
I'm glad we all didn't jump on Christopher Judge's God of War because I mean, like Kratos is good. I think Freya is the best acted character in that game, to be honest. So
agreed. Emma Mere.
That's just my opinion. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Surprised she didn't get in there then.
Yeah.
Best audio design. We have Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, Elden Ring, God of War Ragnarok, Gran Turismo 7, and Horizon Forbidden West. This is where I vote Horizon Forbidden West for sound design.
I can get down with that. God of War is good too.
Yeah, I can get down with that. God of War and Elden Ring have some bangers, or as the kids say, they have things that slap or slaps. It slaps or whatever.
It's just audio, right? It's not like music.
No, it's just in-game audio and sound design.
Just audio and sound design. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and for me, and I told you guys about this when I was playing Horizon as well. Like there was one moment in the very beginning of the game where I could hear birds and I thought there were birds outside my window. And I really haven't had that with any other game that kind of faked me out the way that game did. And I just think there's a lot more creativity as well in the auto design for Forbidden West and I'm going to be completely honest with you. I don't know how Elden Ring gets in this. I'm sorry, but like Elden Ring's a bunch of walking in grass and you hitting stuff off of metals. Like I'm sorry, but like I don't know where audio, like music is different. and this isn't
music's
music.
different.
This is
That's
audio
what I'm
design.
saying.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's
it's
why it
like,
was good. That's why it was good to clarify exactly what it means
Yeah.
as opposed to.
I can get down with Horizon. I'm gonna pick Horizon.
this is
I'm
where
not
I
gonna
yeah.
fight it.
All right,
All
this is
right.
where I vote Horizon. They're sweet. Now,
Sick.
best score in music.
Okay.
Stray.
We have a Plague Tale, a Plague Tale Requiem, Elden Ring, God of War Ragnarok, Metal Hellsinger,
Ooh.
and
Oh,
Xenoblade
That's a good one.
Chronicles 3.
Craig, Metal Hellsinger.
Metal Hellsinger is great, but I would have said Metal Hellsinger, but there is a song instrumental piece at the very end of God of War that is like cinema quality, and it's so good and it's so engrossing that I was like, I am ready to kick some ass. So like God of War easily for me.
Okay.
For sure.
I haven't gotten to that song yet.
You'll know it when you get to it. Yeah, for sure.
But I mean, for the only person out of the three of us that actually that did get through Elden Ring,
Mhm.
there are some amazing scores, and the bosses are up from softwares up their normal caliber, if not even better, in what they do with that. So that I'm leaning towards that, and I'm really trying not to Elden Ring these awards.
No, From
But
Software has banger boss music. They
they
always
do.
have. Yeah.
They do. But a
Man.
lot of it is what Barry was talking about, though: walking and filler and metal grinding.
Yeah. That's
No,
audio
like
though.
Elden Ring has really good boss music. And
Does.
like for Ragnarok, you can say the same thing about Kratos stepping in snow. Like it's just a
Yeah,
lot of
crunchy. But
like
that's audio, not music.
exactly.
Yeah.
So here's my thing as well. I am not far enough in God of War Ragnarok to say that
Sure.
the music I know is going to be good. Also, Craig, just a heads up, the vinyl is surprisingly affordable if you buy it on
Okay.
eBay.
Oh.
For God
And
of
I
War?
know we talked about that. I just bought mine.
Okay.
Uh,
If it has that song on there, it's worth it for me, and I'm assuming it does.
and that I'm actually going to listen to the
better.
vinyl when it gets in, and I will be
Okay.
able to have a clear pick. As of right now, for me, I am going Elden Ring.
That's
for
fair.
its boss music.
Yeah, that's fair.
Best art direction: Elden Ring, God of War
Stop.
Ragnarok, Horizon Forbidden West, Scorn,
Ooh, yes.
and Stray.
Okay. I'm not gonna say Scorn because that's ridiculous. You know what? I think I have to go God of War just because of that one section. And you notice what I'm talking about with all the colors.
Oh yes.
It was impressive.
Yeah, it almost beat out just any part of the Guardians of the Galaxy game for me.
Yes.
Like with that direction.
Yep.
And I use that as a template now for our direction Guardians of the Galaxy, just in general.
Yep.
Stray had its moments, but we're now at the top of the top 5 games. Stray's better than Scorn, definitely. Sorry, I'm looking at them over here. Stray's better than Scorn.
Scorn? That's so
I get it's unique. I get it. I get it's unique, but still.
But like you can argue that minus the muted tones, that the Scorn has an amazing looking level design, but then what beats itself out is the muted tones and the enemy design.
I can't do the level design. That first level is the most confusing level I've played all year, and I got lost. Literally because this game doesn't tell you where to go. So we're not doing Scorn. I'm completely okay with that.
Oh yeah.
My thing here is, and I knew this was gonna come down to this, but I also am for Horizon Forbidden West here. Well, the thing is for me, and I again have not gotten far enough in God of War because I'm a terrible gamer. But Horizon Forbidden West, like the art design and the care it takes into like all of the clans and the art style that they have in Horizon Zero Dawn, I believe is really unique, and they capture not only like the vibrancy and colors of the game, but also I think it really does well to respect the heritage that it all comes from. So that and I know God of War is going to look great. I'm
Sure.
between those two, and to be fair, I don't really mind voting for Stray either. But
I
it's
Stray's really good, but it's not better. I don't think it's better than Elden Ring, God of War, or Forbidden West. I think Forbidden West for me is a third,
Okay.
or a second. I would fluctuate between that and Elden Ring because of what Elden Ring, like the enemies that were created, the combination of the fantasy and the From Software combined was like a chef's kiss with that. Ragnarok looked like it had a cameraman
Mm-hmm.
in the game. It looked like Kratos had, like, in addition to his normal travel companions, a cameraman that knew what to do at the biggest moments. And like that's I don't want to Ragnarok this, but or
Yeah.
Elden Ring this, but like it it's
okay,
I
Ragnarok then.
I'm gonna
That's
say God of War. I'm gonna say God
okay.
of War. I'm just gonna do it.
Okay.
Ragnarok.
I'm just gonna
Yeah.
do it.
Do it.
Best
I'm good with that.
narrative:
Ooh.
A Plague Tale Requiem, Elden Ring, God of War Ragnarok,
No.
Horizon Forbidden West. I sound like a broken record.
Yep.
And then Mortality. Immortality
Mortality.
again.
Immortality.
I'm not gonna argue.
I am not impressed with Horizon or God of War's story.
I think Horizon,
For me, it's
because of where
Immortality or A Plague Tale.
Immortality.
I'm going to agree with either of those two. I haven't played A Plague Tale. I think Horizon, because of where the story went, actually, God of War story got so drawn out that it kind of lost me in places. Craig, we talked about this.
Yep.
So, like, I don't even want to vote that there. I have not played Immortality, but I am highly intrigued with the concept now that you've explained it.
Yeah.
So I'm okay. I'm okay with like a different direction with what it's going. Elden Ring is all lore. So we're not going to talk about a narrative with Elden Ring when you have to find and then read literally everything and then deal with 8 cutscenes that
Yeah.
introduce bosses and introduce bosses dying. So like that. So we're going to take Elden Ring out too. Like, you know what I mean? Like I like where your selections are going.
Sure.
Okay, we'll go with Immortality. I'm
Sweet.
okay with that one. I do believe A Plague Tale Requiem, like it should go somewhere here, but next up is going to be Best Game Direction. Awarded for outstanding creative vision and innovation in game direction and design. Elden Ring, God of War Ragnarok, Horizon Forbidden
Oh
West,
my god.
Immortality, and Stray.
What's the name of this
I'm going
category?
Stray.
What's the name of the category?
You know, let's
Best
go
game.
Stray.
This is best game direction, and
Yeah,
again I'll
Stray.
read it.
Stray.
Awarded for creative vision and innovation in game design and
Mhm.
direction.
I would say Stray or Immortality, but Immortality is something that's been done before. There's like 2 or 3 other games that have done this style before.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Stray. It's new. It's different.
Let's go Stray.
Yeah.
There we go. Stray gets its award according to us, and then wow, we're already here. The big
Yep.
one, Game of the Year,
Game
is
of the
going
month.
to be the.
First of all, just don't even say Stray. Kick it out of here.
Yeah, it's
I
I
was
love
terrible.
Yeah.
I
Gotta-
love Stray and I can't accept it here. I'm sorry.
I have to give it its due anyway.
All right.
Okay.
A Plague Tale Requiem, Elden Ring, God of War Ragnarok, Horizon Forbidden West, Stray, and Xenoblade Chronicles 3.
I don't like any of these. I really don't.
Are we sure Tunic's not in there?
Tunic's not in there.
I haven't had that game that's like head and shoulders my game of the year yet. And maybe it's Callisto, but like I've enjoyed those games, all of them, but I wouldn't say they're like, oh my god, this is the best game of the year.
You're not gonna like me.
Go for it.
I felt a certain type of way when I beat Elden Ring,
I
and it
think
was
Elden Ring's a
really
fine choice.
it was a great feeling when I finished that game, and
Yeah.
I liked it from top to bottom, from T to B.
Okay.
So
I'm down with Elden Ring.
And here's what I'll say here. The text blurb here is recognizing a game that delivers absolute best experience across all creative and technical fields is what they want for game of the year. So for right out of the gate for me, I'm sorry, Stray doesn't fit there. Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is a great JRPG, but it does not, I think, fit in this. I feel like if Xenoblade Chronicles 3 wasn't attached to the Switch, and maybe they could have done a lot more with it on another console, I feel like I'd be better voting for that. I feel like I would be better voting for that. Horizon Forbidden West ending dumps me too far off of it.
Yep.
So then we're left with A Plague Tale Requiem, Elden Ring, and Ragnarok. Ragnarok I have not finished, but all I ever hear about it is how great Ragnarok is and the ending.
Yep. It's a great ending.
A Plague Tale is that shock and awe ending that I mentioned before that does still stick with me. That ending there. And then we have Elden Ring, in which I got very far into Elden Ring. Yeah, I didn't beat it. This one's tough for me.
Callisto Protocol.
Yeah, none of the above.
Yeah. We're gonna say Marvel Midnight Suns as game of the year. Calling it now.
Need for Speed. I don't know. I mean, I played I didn't even get past the first boss in Elden Ring yet. So it's tough, but I can recognize that game's great. I just don't have the patience or time right now to spend 100 hours on that game. But if you're saying the payoff is worth 100 hours, then it's got to be good. It's got to be good.
It is. It has the classic feel that you get when you beat any From Software game, except it's not like the ending blew me away, because again, you know how From Software games are. They're built a lot on lore and what you interpret from it, and then watching a YouTube video for 45 minutes of somebody who actually did the research,
Yeah.
But if I can think of how the experience felt, if I can think of the most excited I was to turn on a game console to play a game for the longest time this year, I would put Elden Ring over these others.
Okay.
That's what I would do.
Yeah, the only thing for me is just Elden Ring lacks that story experience, which is what that's it. There is Ragnarok and Plague Tale Requiem have that story experience for me. I don't know. I'm okay with going Elden Ring here. Just because what I want to say is God of War Ragnarok, I feel like is more of God of War. Yes, it's good. It's great. God of War is great, and that's what we're rewarding it for. And I know it's a minor thing, but Plague Tale Requiem was too long.
It was.
So is God of War. So is Elden Ring. So is Horizon.
So is Horizon. Yeah.
Stray wasn't.
No, Stray was fine.
So I guess going off of that, I think we just go back to Stray.
Yeah, Stray wins. Put the vote in for Stray.
Xenoblade is naturally too long every game.
Yeah, way too long. Yeah, put it for Stray. Let's go.
Yeah, okay. Okay. We're gonna vote Elden Ring here. Because I think we're all at different aspects. Craig finished it. I am more than halfway, and Craig only beat the first boss here.
No, I didn't beat the first boss.
You didn't beat the first boss.
No.
We're all at different levels of Elden Ring, and we all can respect what it did. Yeah. And especially after, and I'll talk about it, especially after playing Pokemon Scarlet and Violet here, what Elden Ring did for their open world with no loading. And it looks good. It ran good from pretty much the very beginning.
Yeah.
All right. I hate to say it, but I'm going Elden Ring here.
Yeah.
All right.
I like it.
All right. That is the High Sensitivity podcast of Game of the Year predictions and votes. One day Jeff Keighley will recognize us, and we'll be shooting or recording the podcast right from the Game Awards. One day.
Yep. Right on
That's
stage. Front stage.
Yep.
One
with
day.
Jeff Keighley right next to us. He'll be giving us his votes as well.
Special guest, Jeff Keighley.
Special guest Jeff Keighley. Overall, how do you guys feel about this stuff. I tend to feel like there's a lot of overlap this year more
Yeah,
than
and they leave a
others.
lot of games out.
They
They
do.
they focus in on like the same 4 or 5 games. I don't know. I just feel like there's other stuff out there.
I mean, I like the fact that we were diversifying our answers based on the categories. Some you can't avoid when there's 3 games that are in 8 categories, you know?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
True.
it's tough, but that's going to be it for news and the Game of the Awards segment here. We'll see how many we get right, and we'll see what ends up happening with it. I feel pretty good about our list, to be honest. The Game Awards also tends to kind of be extensive and not like vote how we think we would.
Mhm.
So
mhm,
I just hope they stay the same as well. But let's be honest, you just want our Game of the Year rewards to come out, which
Mhm.
you will get, at the beginning
It's
of
true.
January here. We are already
We
well at work
we got
on
more
yeah.
this
games
stuff.
coming out this year. We can't pick yet.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly. There's like 3 or 4 big games that still haven't been released. It makes no
Yeah.
sense why they just don't hold the show till after January.
Yeah.
Regardless,
It
that's
doesn't.
just the way things are, especially with award shows. It seems like.
Yep.
Mhm.
Next up is going to be games this week, which this week was the perfect week to kind of catch up. But you guys
Yep.
probably played Evil West.
I did play Evil West.
I did not. I loaded it onto the PlayStation, but I was trying to grind God of War,
Listen,
and
I first and foremost, I beat God of War. That was my goal for this off week, as we can call it. And once I did that, I did play a couple hours of Evil West with the time I had left.
All right, so I guess we'll talk about the oldest game here, and I'm sorry we haven't done the spoiler cast yet.
Yes.
That's primarily my fault. You guys want to talk about God of War and what your guys' kind of final thoughts and expectations are for everything?
Sure. Um, so having beaten it, I will say that the ending is very good. I really liked what they did. When you get towards the end and you get to like the end boss battles, that's the stereotypical God of War boss battles that I enjoy. The, big health bar, and then get them down halfway, and then it does like the
switch up.
QTEs where you're mashing circle or square or R1, and then you throw or they throw you, and then you go to a different area. Like, I like all that stuff. It's cool. It's cinematic. I enjoy what they did. I will say that in order for me to beat this game, and again, without spoiling anything, there was a point for me where I knew the ending was coming, right? You can tell. I'm like, all right, I'm getting near the end. There was so many times that the characters I was with would be like, hey, we need to go here. But, hey, if you want to go check out some other stuff, we got time. They said that I swear to you, at least 10 times. They're just like, hey, you sure you don't want to go? Hey, you want to go to this place? Which is fine. Like, they want you to kind of do everything. I didn't do everything yet because there was a moment where I'm doing the main stuff. I'm digging it, and I'm like, okay, I do this one major thing, and it's like right before you get to the what you would consider the end game, right? And I finish it, and it's like, all right, go back here to start your final preps. I'm like, okay. So I go there, I start to walk there, and there is a character that shows up and runs off. And I'm like, okay. And it's like, hey, we should follow him. I'm like, yeah, I'll follow him. Why not? So I follow the character, and it gets you to this gigantic open area that can only be described as their attempt at Elden Ring.
Yeah.
And there was so much stuff crammed into this area, so many side quests, so many chests, so many things to do. And I was like, you have got to be kidding me. Stop. Like, it's too much. And I literally did like 1 or 2 of the side missions, and I was like, I'm just going to beat the game because this is ridiculous. They have tried to squeeze so much into this game. It's exhausting. The ending is awesome and the story's good, but I felt like how I felt when I tried to play The Witcher, where I'm just like,
Yeah.
this is just
Overwhelmed.
knock it off. Like, your game didn't need to be 50 hours. It needed to be 20, and it would have been fine. I don't need another Horizon Forbidden West over here. I wanted God of War. God of War has always been 10 to 20 hours. So the story is great and the ending was awesome, but man, it was like the biggest chore in the world to beat this game. And I know, Barry, like we've said, it's a sleepy game. It puts you to sleep when you play it at points.
That's my issue, yeah.
Yeah, like it's just I had to literally like put the blinders on and be like, I am beating this game today. I don't care about any of the side stuff. I blocked it out and I just went right to the end. And I feel good. Am I going to go back and play more? Maybe, probably not. Because even when you beat the game, guess what? After the credits roll, they're like, hey, there's like all this other stuff that just popped up. You should probably go check that out. And I went, nope, I'm not going to do that because I don't care.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll go back to it someday, but like as of right now, I was like, I'm good with my God of War experience. I don't need you to tell me there's 10 more hours of stuff to do after I beat the game. Get out of here. Yeah. Good game, but man, is it frustrating.
I share a lot of the same sentiments as you, Craig. There's really only one thing that I need to say on my end for God of
Sure.
War, because I woke up today and I had off today.
Mm-hmm.
And I had about 7 hours or so to play with. My wife's working. I'm like, I'm beating God of War today.
Yeah.
I'm doing it. And I got to the exact same part that
I'm
you are
talking
talking about. The only difference between the smart man in this scenario, i.e. you, and the dumb man, i.e. me, is I was like, oh, let me go see everything.
Yeah.
And I did that entire area. I was like, I'll just do this part. And then that part turned into another part. And they're like, oh, you got to kill a bunch of these things. And I was like, those are cool things to kill. I'll kill those. Maybe I'll get something that'll help me against the inevitable battles in the ladder of the game. And I did that. And then it happened again and it happened again. And the whole area, like Barry, he's not joking. To put it in perspective, I woke up and I decided I wanted to beat God of War today. And I got to that side mission.
Yep.
In the first 45 minutes of my playthrough, and I spent the remainder of the 7 hours minus lunchtime playing that area.
It's ridiculous.
That whole area. It's ridiculous. And it looks cool and it's a good idea. Maybe earlier in the game or not at all, or DLC. Just DLC that.
It's DLC. It's 100%
It's a DLC amount.
Yeah.
And they stick it right before. I'm on chapter, like Craig, I'm on chapter 14 going on 15, I think it is.
And there's so like 16 chapters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, I'm going to beat it today. I'm going to do this. And then I'll start Evil West and I'll have some content to talk about tonight. Nope. I get to that area and that's the entirety of my game day. So to put it in perspective for those of you listening at home, if you're at chapter 13, beware. When you get to 14, it's insane. So
it's so unnecessary.
It's a lot.
It's so, first of all, the whole, again, I won't spoil anything, but the whole premise of this side area is going to rescue somebody, right? That's like, you're there and you're like, we should rescue this person. First of all, the person who needs rescued has
no camera
one
time.
line in the game, and then all of a sudden they decide to become important and do this thing that makes you have to go rescue them. I don't even know who this character is.
I was struggling. Yeah,
right?
I had to look
like
him
who?
up.
Why do I care about this guy at all? Like he was so random. And then it's this whole area about rescuing him. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. I'm not doing that. I don't care. Stop. Oh man. And it's such a good ending too. It's such a bummer that they just felt the need to bloat this game so much. Dear Lord, is it too long? I'm so angry.
I personally will have the game beat by next week because I feel like there's really only a half hour left. I just
you have like an hour left.
Okay,
be good.
Yeah, I had an hour left for 8 hours today, and
I'm gonna try and get to where you guys are.
I would honestly say, well, you can't even ignore the side stuff because you need the equipment.
You do.
Like, you can't not do it.
There's definitely a skill level and a progression in the enemy where you want to have some of that stuff. You don't need any stuff from this big one. No. I don't think.
No, you don't.
But I don't know.
But man, this game is so like hard for me to like because I want to just like criticize it so bad, but the game itself is so good that like it's tough to like be like this game sucks, don't play it. I'm like, no, it's actually really good. You should play it, but you're just going to be frustrated. It's like Plague's
Mhm.
Tale. Same thing. Plague's Tale is too long too, but it's a great game.
Mhm.
Man. Anyways, Evil West. Here's what happens with Evil West. Going from God of War and then playing Evil West is not a good idea. Because it's
Yes.
doing the same thing, right? It's almost identical as far as what they're trying to accomplish. It's a lot more linear, and it's straight melee combat with pistols and like, you know, some long range, but at its forefront it's a melee based game. No combos, but like, you know, your basic press RB, hold RB for different attacks. The game looks like it came out on the 360. First of all, it doesn't look good.
Oh.
It's rough. It's very dark. I find the story uninteresting. I was really bummed that I was like, I know you and I were both excited for this because we're like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, that looks cool. It's okay. I don't hate it, and I'll probably play through it, assuming I can get through it this before Friday, Callisto.
Mm.
But it's not anything special. And when you place it right after God of War, it's not even close. It's not even close.
Yeah. I mean, now that you mention it, yeah, it's just over the shoulder. It's like same thing,
Mm-hmm.
just but without good graphics and without the mythology, but like
Yep.
still fighting otherworldly beings.
Yep.
But like I could see that not being a good transition.
It's not at all. If this would have came out like in the middle of the summer, I would have been like, that game's all right. But when you compare the two, it's not even close. So it's a game you could probably enjoy enough to play through, but you're gonna forget in a week. So in that case, I would say pass.
Okay. For me this week, I played Pokemon, so
Hmm.
I kind of have a bit more extensive results on that one. One, it's still the same Pokemon game. The Pokemon part is good. The game technically does not run well at all, and we're kind of, that's been covered to death
Hmm.
around here.
Yeah.
Some of the things that I do find issues with, like right now, is the map is just way too confusing. I spent over an hour trying to hunt this one Pokemon that it says it's there, but I can't find it. Because I'm trying way too hard and I'm trying to, you know, do a lot of the Pokedex before even getting farther into the game. Um, the gym battles this year just and this Pokemon's missing a couple things, at least in my eyes. Like, one, the gym battles aren't very I don't find them very fun or challenging by any means. Like, pretty much you just do a random fun mini game, and I can't even recognize them as fun. They're just mini game, and then it's like, okay, here's the gym leader. Go ahead and face the gym leader, and and it's mini games like the one is like order the secret recipe from this one gym, and you have to talk to people to get this recipe that they're talking about. So you talk to people, it literally highlights
Hmm.
the words because it's trying to make it easy. You
Right.
just guess the secret dish, and they're like, okay, here's the gym leader. Where in past games, like there was at least a row of trainers that would lead you to the gym leader.
Yeah.
That's not really a thing in this game anymore. And on
Hmm.
top of that, of you can't really say the same because what I miss about sometimes in Pokemon and especially from the older ones is all of the trainers are kind of optional to face on the road this time around. You have to talk to them in order to initiate battle. You can go this entire game and not really face a single trainer on the road.
Wow.
Uh
Okay.
where I kind of miss that about the old games where
Yeah.
there were certain choke points where it was like, okay, here's like 7 battles in a row, and you could either challenge yourself to go ahead and try and beat them all without going to a Pokemon Center, or there's usually a Pokemon Center right behind you. So you can do
Yeah.
3, heal up, and continue. I don't know, I kind of like that about the older Pokemon games, and this one doesn't have that. And when it comes to like the open world aspect, yes, the open world aspect is a lot better this one. It just doesn't run well, and on top of it too, I just feel like it's a lot of walking in a place, and there is like the fun of exploring and finding new Pokemon that you didn't know where they were because you have no idea where you are. And
Hmm.
just the whole getting around is a little bit better. I do wish I do wish that you were able to do more with your kind of ride Pokemon or the legendary you get in the beginning of the game, because you can
Hmm.
ride it on a motorcycle, it can swim, it can jump, it can boost. Like, it's kind of meant to be your all in one purpose, but in order
Hmm.
to unlock those purposes, you need to continue farther into the game. So like I literally can't walk in water because my character, for all intents and purposes drowns or can't swim.
Yeah.
So, it's kind of harder to get the water Pokemon unless you're on the edge of a lake and you're throwing a Pokeball to go ahead and like fight the thing. I just wish there was a bit more, and they all talk about like freedom in a way. I really wish there was more freedom in the beginning part of the game. I wish it did allow me to, this Pokemon shit is also able to fly. And I really wish
Mm.
like I could just fly over a mountain and go to the next town instead of trying to trudge, and essentially because Pokemon are in the overworld now, you don't have to fight these people. You don't have to fight trainers or Pokemon. You can literally just run right by them. So why not give people the tools to explore early, so that way they don't feel the need to have to trug, you know, 5-10 minutes in a certain direction, and just dodging Pokemon left and right. Like, I feel like they should have just given you the options to explore right at the beginning, and then
Yeah.
let you catch the Pokemon you want. Yeah, water Pokemon are usually in the water. Let me get those if I want them, kind
Mm.
of deal. And if I want flying Pokemon, let me get up in the air and fly around and catch something flying in the
Is
air.
there no fishing pole?
There is a fishing pole.
Okay.
I must have skipped it because I have no idea where it is. To be honest.
Okay. That's like a
Uh,
staple
and,
in Pokemon.
and who knows?
That
I,
is.
I actually, and who knows? There might not be an actual fishing pole now, because for the most part, like, you used to fish to get the Pokemon like Magikarp and the other
Right.
ones, but now
Hmm.
because they're in the overworld, they want you just to walk up to them. So to be honest, I
Oh,
think there
okay.
might not be a pole anymore or a fishing rod anymore. They
Okay.
just want you to, again, like when you're able, use Surf for the Pokemon that can swim, and then go out into the water.
Wow. Okay.
Okay.
And still technical issues galore for you.
Oh yeah, it is bad. It is absolutely like technical issues and does not run well. And
Man.
again, I just don't know. We don't know who to blame for it. Like, is it the hardware, or is it the Pokemon Company tried to put out two games in one year with Arceus and Scarlet and Violet?
Right.
Could they
Yeah,
have
they should
put
have waited.
Scarlet? Yeah, could they have waited? They probably could have, but the thing is, and we've known about this for a while, Pokemon makes a lot of money, a lot for them. And I have a feeling they looked at the dollar signs and went, "Oh, if we can put out two games in one year, that's
All the
two times
monies.
the money we're
Yep.
going to get. And, two times the more cards that they can put out, two times the more plushies, gear,
Yeah.
everything that they can put out." So it's faster and better for them because they're able to do that kind of stuff, and get it out quicker. One thing that I do my research on like the Pokemon and Game Freak company, and apparently they're still fairly small. Like, they have the money to expand for sure, or maybe hire new talent in order to maybe expand on the games. But that's like, hiring new talent is not something, of course, I have any clue with. And I think at some point, like, I kind of wonder, is the Pokemon company bigger than Game Freak itself? So, do you have people who from the Pokemon Company are telling Game Freak to make these games faster than what they can do possibly? And the Pokemon Company goes, "Well, it's playable. Let's just put it out."
Yeah.
Because we do have issues where this week they did say, "Oh, we haven't gotten any complaints about how Scarlet and Violet is running." First off, that's just a lie.
Yep.
You've
Yeah, that's flat out.
And the reason I know it's a lie is because there are stories about people actually getting refunds on this game after buying it digitally. So, much like with Cyberpunk and the fiasco that was, we're starting to see it happen with Pokemon because of its technical issues. They're offering refunds. So people have been complaining about it, but haven't, they, I guess it's either refused to acknowledge it or just straight up lying
Yeah.
about the fact that people aren't complaining about it. So you kind of have to take it with what you will. Pokemon has a lot of issues, but, and I'm part of the problem. is that they just buy it. But of course, like me
Yeah.
not buying a game isn't going to solve anything. It needs to be the masses that does it.
But that's the
I
reason why the masses don't do it, is every
Correct.
person in the masses believe that they're not the one who's going to make the point. It's like, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. It's the problem we have with, I'm not going to make this political, but it's the same thing we have with voting. Like,
Yep.
yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
not going to make a difference. So I'm not going to
Yeah.
stop buying it. And then everybody thinks that. So then Game Freak and Pokemon can put out literally anything. They could put out a Pokemon game that accidentally has Digimon on the front, and people will be like, "Oh, I'll buy it. It's still the Pokemon game." You know what I mean? So
Yep. Yeah, you're not wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, you're not wrong at all with that. And that's where I think a lot of people, there are a lot of streamers, like big time streamers who are going, yeah, like things need to change with Pokemon. But like how much can they change even? Because people are just blinded by the fact that it's Pokemon and they want to play it. That's all they care about.
yeah,
Is
yeah,
playing it because it's a game that brings them happiness or does this or does that for them. Because Pokemon is a game I think that's rooted in a lot of our childhood. And I think
it
that's why
is.
it's so big because not only is it rooted in us as high 20s, low 30-year-olds, but also as people who are 10, 5, 7, love
Yeah.
Pokemon too. And that's not
Yep.
something that we see a lot of. We're starting to see it with Sonic becoming more
Yeah.
popular with kids. Um, but we really don't see it on the scale that Pokemon has, where you have a pretty much a 50-year group of people who are like, I gotta have this game and buy
Yeah.
it. So, there's definitely something that Game Freak needs to do about their games, but again, they probably won't do it, and we're probably going to figure out that they're either releasing. I just wonder whether or not they're going to start making 2 games come out every year, which I don't think so. I think this was one like year that they decided to do Arceus and Scarlet and Violet. I don't
Mhm.
see another Pokemon game coming out in February unless
I
they've
would
been
hope
I
not.
hope not. I hope
Yeah.
not.
exactly. So I'm not sure. I'm gonna go with that. This was an anomaly with 2 Pokemon games in 1 year, but who knows at this point? You
Yeah.
know, you've had the Pokemon Diamond and Pearl teams have been done with their games for a little bit. So
Yeah.
are they working on another remake or something like that? Like it's all kind of up in the air about what these people do, and they keep tight-lipped, so nobody really knows what is being worked on next. But
Yeah.
Pokemon, and I'll stop ranting, but Pokemon overall, I like it despite its technical issues,
It's fair.
which is the same with anything. But all right, next up is TV and movies. Did anybody watch anything new this week?
I did. I watched Wednesday on Netflix.
I'm
Oh,
hearing a
I
lot
did
of good things about
too.
that.
Yeah. And
Ooh.
I also forced myself to watch Terrifier 2.
Oh, you did? Why?
I did.
Why, dude?
Because
Why did you do
I
that?
watched the first one and I felt like I should watch the second one. Because
Got
for
it.
some reason it's sitting at like an 86 on Rotten Tomatoes.
It is?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, that's what I watched.
Barry? What did you watch?
Barry's been
Hallmark
watching World
Christmas.
Cup.
World Cup. I've been watching World
Yeah.
Cup. I've also been watching a lot of Hallmark Christmas movies during this
Okay.
Thanksgiving break. I can't review any of them, to be honest. They're all the same.
Yep.
Guy falls in love with girl or girl falls in love with guy, but due to extraneous circumstances, they take about 2 to 3 hours to confess their love to each other. So
Oh
Yes.
no.
They will meet in either a bakery or library or bookshop or something, usually.
yes, and then they'll confess it there of some
Yes.
point.
Over
So,
coffee.
Right.
if there's one thing I can say is the World Cup's pretty cool. Costa Rica won and beat Japan today. That's
Woo.
all I got.
Yeah.
Uh,
I
ahead.
also watched Wednesday, but only the first episode.
Okay, I
My
watched
wife
the
and
first
I,
3.
yeah, so we can chat about that one.
Sure.
My wife loves the Addams Family, so
Mm-hmm.
and I also watched that Lizzo documentary that came out on HBO Max. We're also a big Lizzo household as well. There's not an incredible amount to say because it is a documentary, but I could talk about that as well, very briefly.
Sure. I watched the Selena Gomez documentary on Apple TV
Oh
last week,
yeah.
and I didn't bring that up, but just like real quickly on that, I think it's I'm not a Selena Gomez fan. Let me just throw that out there. I think I know like a couple of her songs, I would assume, but she's been through a lot. Obviously, it's been well documented. Mental health issues, she physical
Mm-hmm.
issues. She has lupus and all other kinds of stuff going on. But I thought it was really good in that it shows you the not so glamorous side of being famous and how exhausting and strenuous it can be. And I know I've been guilty in the past of people being like, when famous people are like, oh, this is so hard, I don't want to do it anymore, being like, you're making tons of money, shut up. you know like it was very easy for me to watch that and be like, I understand why they say that now, because it is grueling and
Mm-hmm.
people can be horrifying. And yeah, so it was I enjoyed it a lot. It showed a
Okay.
lot. But yeah, Wednesday, I it's pretty good, right?
Yeah.
It's pretty good,
Yes.
not
It's
gonna
pretty
lie.
freaking. It's pretty freaking good, man.
It's
Like
not what
I'm
I
not gonna lie.
expected, right? It's kind of like a like Wednesday Goes to Hogwarts.
It is. That's essentially what it is. I mean, even
Yeah,
in the beginning, because they announce like the different groups
right.
that hang out. You have, what do they call them? Like the Howlers, whatever the like
Yeah, the
werewolf group.
werewolves. Yep.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
what are the? There's the Stoners. Is that one of them?
Yes, I think there's also the mermen
Yeah.
and merladies,
Yes.
or the
Scales.
scalies,
Yeah. Yep.
scales.
Look at us.
So they have like all these groups, and you're right. It's essentially Wednesday goes to a Hogwarts-esque
Mhm.
thing,
And
but
Christina Ricci's in it.
Christina Ricci,
So cool.
is
The
in it, and
original
it's
Wednesday Adams.
OG, and she had some funny lines in it too. Like at
Hmm.
least in the first episode that I watched, Catherine Zeta-Jones as
Yeah.
Morticia
Yeah.
can't go better. They really casted it very well. Oh my gosh, the principal of the school is Game of Thrones.
Yep. I forget
Um,
her name though.
Is it Gwendolyn
Brienne.
Christie?
Yes, Brienne of Tarth. Yes,
Hmm.
yes, she's in it. She's the principal of the school. She looks. I had to double take. I had to even triple take because I'm pretty sure when she first was on the screen. This has happened to me a couple of times with her because how they specifically made Brienne of Tarth look. She'll come on and she's a beautiful woman. Like she'll come on and then you'll be like, "Is that Brienne? Like is that Brienne of Tarth?" Like that happened again in Wednesday, and I was like, "I think that's her. Let me look it up and see if that's her." And it was. Yeah. So yes. Um, Go ahead, Craig.
No,
Sorry.
it's I wasn't sure what I was expecting out of the show. I was expecting
Mm,
like just I don't know, Adam's Family shenanigans, but I was pleasantly surprised that it was like, oh, there's an actual story here with the
mhm.
school, and she's trying to figure out what's going on at the school. And you finish that first episode and like you kind of sit there and you're like, am I interested in this? Do I care about
Yeah,
this? What? But
yeah,
yeah, I mean it's good. Surprisingly, it was for me. It was like this is the perfect background show, is what I thought it was going to be, and I was like, oh, I actually do have to pay attention. This is entertaining and interesting, and there's a lot going on. So, yeah, hats off to
yeah.
them for pulling it off.
And you know what? Like since we made the Hogwarts or the Harry Potter comparison, at
Hmm.
least or whatever, the last thing I'll say about it, what's cool is like it had like a Chamber of Secrets Tri Wizard tournament kind of
Yeah,
thing where there's like literally a part that's similar to a Tri Wizard tournament in it, and then also kind of like the Who Done It from Chamber of Secrets,
hmm,
where it's just kind of like there's like some murderings going on or like some foul play, some tomfoolery,
there's
and
definitely some murder.
yeah, there's definitely some murder.
I was like, oh,
And
there's like blood and stuff in this. This is okay.
yeah, and then hats off to Tim Burton. I know he directed I think
Yeah,
4 out of the 8 episodes at least, and I think it was the one that I watched. So that was definitely good. I can't wait to watch the rest of the series.
yeah, for sure. Um, Terrifier 2. Craig, did you watch the first Terrifier?
While ago, yeah.
Okay. How do you feel about Art the Clown?
I I I feel it's like an indifference,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I have like a strong feeling for a yay and a strong feeling for a nay. Like he's
Sure.
not my favorite. He's not my favorite uh murderous or at least bad clown
Sure.
in clown history, but I kind of was interested with the fact that I walked away from that experience and I at least was not repulsed by that
Sure.
antagonist.
Yeah, it's
If that
interesting
makes
because like
sense.
the first one, like I didn't hate it. It's like that old school, so over the top with the gore that it's like,
Mhm.
let's see if you can survive watching this movie or if you're going to get too grossed out. That
Yeah.
can be kind of an interesting thing that isn't done so much anymore. Like, I mean, Saw was kind of that back in the day.
Mhm.
Hostel, I think of Hostel as
Mhm.
like in my
Oh
time
yeah,
frame, that was a big one.
that was
Um,
gory for that time. Yeah.
Oof, yeah. And the first Terrifier is extremely gory. Let's just throw that out
Mhm.
there. Like it's
Mhm.
insanely gory. So the second one, obviously, you can tell that they have a bigger budget. What I can say though is that like all the money went into the effects, right? Practical effects, and like none of it went into the acting because the actors are all awful, just awful. Not even passable. Like just them reading their lines. I'm like, oh, you couldn't find somebody better. Like this is
Yeah.
insane. But what I'll say about the like people aren't really there for the acting, right? They're there for like, oh man, what kind of crazy gory kills is he gonna do?
Yeah.
How are they gonna top the first one? Because that was so over the top. I feel like I don't get like grossed out or squeamish with movies. I just don't. But I feel like with this one, we're getting to where it's not healthy for people to see, right?
Interesting.
It's like you're doing so much, and like it's all practical effects, and it's incredible how realistic they can make it look. But like you kind of sit there and you're like, is this gonna ultimately somebody's gonna watch this? Is this gonna inspire them to do something? Because it's like
Mm.
it's too much. And it is. It's just like you could tell I don't remember the name of the director, but he's just like, okay, how do I top this? All right, how do I top that? All right, all right, let's just keep going. And it's just like, is this director secretly murdering people that we don't know about? Because it definitely seems like it. Um, I don't know. The acting is not great. The story's stupid. And you're just there for the kills, which is sure. But I don't know. I don't think it's necessary at all. If you can make it through it, Barry, there's no way you would make it through it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm
I don't
appreciating you're not trying to force me to watch this one.
know. I wouldn't even force you to watch the first one because that is like,
Mm-mm.
whew. I don't know. Like if you watch it, Craig, we can kind of see what you think. But I just like, I almost felt gross after it was over.
Yeah.
I'm
After
just
it's
like, oh God, that was gross. But
yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I don't want to. I refuse to become the old person who's like, this is too much. But I don't know. I
Yeah.
just like, man, this is a bit
You
much.
young kids with
Yeah,
your scary movies.
because I watched a lot of crazy movies growing up, horror wise, that were just so much
Mm.
gore. But this is like a new level,
Mm.
honestly. But yeah, wouldn't recommend.
I'll have to take a peek at that.
Oh, you will.
Yeah, I will. Um, Real quick, just
Sure.
5 minutes on Love Lizzo. Love
Yeah.
Lizzo documentary. I don't want this to sound like a plug because I'm pretty much going to go through and tell everybody that they should watch it. And the reason why is even if you're not a big Lizzo fan, you have at least heard About Damn Time or some of her other ones like
Yep.
that really kind of made it mainstream, at least and specifically recently. Uh, that woman has such energy that I left that documentary feeling like I could do anything. And certain people, it's interesting looking at how they became who they are. Everybody's got a I was up all night eating ramen story, or a lot of people do at least, especially in the creative field of how they went from starving artists, regardless of what artist you are, to rich artists. But it's kind of interesting seeing her in particular growing up and having to deal with not just specific like color of her skin issues, but also the issue of like what America perceives as a as pretty or as beautiful. So like when you combine those two, and then when you actually look at what she had to do in the beginning of her musical journey, if you need something, like, I wish they could have condensed that documentary into like a 5-minute clip so that I could watch that every day before work, because it's like I felt like the only time that I felt that way in the last couple of years was probably after watching the Michael Jordan documentary.
Yes.
You know, like you guys know how you felt like after that, where you're
Mhm.
just like, wow, I could do anything. And look at he did. Look at what all the stuff he did. That's what I felt like after Lizzo. Like I watched it late at night, which I shouldn't have, because I had like a weird documentary induced energy after it. It was like a cup of coffee. It was weird. But it's called Love Lizzo. It's on HBO Max. It's free. She's got a great story. The first 10 years of her career, she wasn't even famous. So like it's interesting to see how she got how she went there. And she's like my age. She's like 34. So it's crazy. Anyway, that's all I had to say about
Yeah.
that.
Mhm. Well, all right. Thank you guys for listening. Hopefully, if you putting you in the Lizzo energy made you guys feel a bit more up and about from
Yeah.
the killing phase that I guess the
Oof.
one movie Craig was talking about.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
much prefer you guys watch Lizzo from the sounds of it. So,
Yes.
Yeah.
Correct. Mhm.
but if you guys did like the podcast, please make sure to review it on your listening platform of choice. Please make sure to share it with a friend if you think they liked it. And if you're interested, that we do have a Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Twitch. If you're interested in following any of those, just to see, I post up the video and the podcast link every week. And we also post some major news if we happen to catch by it on Instagram. So those are the main two ones you want to follow in case you guys want to. Other than that, we do have an email if you feel like messaging us at highsensitivitypodcast@gmail.com if you want to ask us any
Yeah.
hypothetical and tell us that all of our picks for the Game Awards are absolute crap and we don't game at all. You can do that as well. But we thank you guys for listening again. We really appreciate it. Over 3,000 listens for us doing this for a couple years now. It means a lot. I do appreciate
It
everybody
does.
that continues to listen to the podcast. 3,000 is a number I sometimes can't even comprehend. So
Yeah.
I thank you to everybody who listens, and hopefully we continue to put out a product you enjoy. And with that, we'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Good night, guys.